Hello, friends. Welcome back to Love Wrestling. Spencer Love here with another interview with not just a great professional wrestler, but someone who's got her fingers in a lot of different stuff, whether it's YouTube, whether it's Twitch streaming, and everything in between. Mariah May, the Glamour, joining me on the show. It's great to talk to you. I was actually tuned into your stream about half an hour ago, 25 minutes ago, whatever it was. Like, you're a busy individual, friend. How are you doing? Are you keeping up?
Thanks so much for having me, and thank you for that intro. That was awesome. Yeah, I'm good. I'm just super busy, but I really enjoy everything I do, and I feel like when you enjoy what you do, although it takes a lot of time and energy, it doesn't feel like work, and you don't feel like stressed. So I really enjoy doing all this stuff, and thank you for hanging out on my Twitch stream.
Of course, it's fun. Admittedly, I'm pretty new to Twitch. I always compare it. It's one of the first times for me. I'm 29. It's like the first real big trend where I'm like, fuck, I'm old. This is not meant for me. I'm aging. So I'm still getting used to it, but it's fun to tune in, you know? It's a lot more of a, I guess, casual environment, you know, Facebook Live and YouTube Live. It just doesn't seem to have that same sort of feel that Twitch does to it, right? Have you sort of found yourself gravitating to that stuff more? I've enjoyed watching you play video games on there. It's, again, a lot more casual setting. What do you loved about it?
Yeah, I mean, I'm like, you said, oh, I feel like I'm old because I don't get this. I mean, I'm trying to keep up with trends because I feel like when you are, a public figure, obviously I'm a wrestler, but you're a business, you're a public figure, you have to keep up and you want to reach different people. So that's kind of how I felt with TikTok. Like you do all these little short videos and stuff. I'm like, whoa, what is all of
what
this?
is this?
That was my moment when I was like, I'm 22 years old, but I feel like a grandma picking up a phone for the first time. Like, I'm so confused. And I was kind of the same about Twitch. I was a little bit reserved about it. Like, I used to do YouTube live streams, which was literally just talking. And the reason I liked it is because it is more laid back and it's a great way to communicate with people. And then everyone was like, you need to get onto Twitch, you need to get onto Twitch. And I was like, when I think of Twitch, I've always just thought gaming, like professional, really hardcore, really talented gamers. And I like playing games, but I'm not good at them. I think people just watch me because it's funny. I'm like, I'm here for a good time. I'm not talented. And, at that point, I liked gaming, but I wouldn't say I was like a gamer. Like, I didn't play it that much. And then, I moved over to Twitch. And one of the reasons I liked it is because the vibe of it is just so relaxed, and you kind of create your own space and your own community. I mean, mine's called House May, and you create your own community. And it's just like, there's so many ways for your audience to interact with you, which is what I really like. I mean, you can do like channel point redemptions. They can request the games you play. You can talk about loads of different stuff. I mean, there's just so many aspects to it. And I think YouTube Live and Facebook are trying to keep up between me and you. I think they're trying to keep up, but like Twitch.
Mariah May shoots hard on YouTube.
I'm coming for you. Don't take away my status on YouTube, but I
cut this part out.
Like, I love YouTube, and I make a lot of content for YouTube, and I find myself watching it a lot. But Twitch is just like ahead of the curve in terms of live streaming, in my opinion. I just think the access that your community have, in a really safe and controlled way to kind of choose what you do and like what games you play and stuff like that is really fun. And like I said, I'm not a talented gamer. Like, I'm terrible. Like, I have it on the easiest setting sometimes, and I am fighting for my life on these games. But people have a good time, and it's all about having fun, and you can play multiplayer games like Mario Kart and stuff. And I think Twitch, it's great. And it's just, with these platforms, I feel like it's just about giving these things a chance before you think, I'm old, I'm not into it. Like, for me with TikTok, I was like, no way. And then I kind of got into it, and I was like, you know what? Fair enough. You just have to try and like keep up with the trends, I guess.
Well, yeah, and especially on your end of things, I would have to assume, as a both professional wrestler and content creator, like, it's just another way of putting yourself out there, both as far as a performer goes, but as far as emotionally, I guess, right? Like, has it maybe helped in professional wrestling? Have you found it to be completely apples and oranges, or have you found that getting out on Twitch and, again, really exposing yourself, has that helped in the professional wrestling sense, or?
Like so like, I've done a lot of things before I ever started wrestling that have really helped me. I was an athlete. I did track and field, so like, I'm already used to the whole training side of things. I did a lot of theater. I was really into acting, so that just that's what people find difficult, is like the promos and the confidence and just the calmness when you're out there and not being like really nervous. Whereas because I'd done theater, I was kind of a bit ahead of that. And I feel like with Twitch and with YouTube, even, you know, YouTube's not, well, you can be live, but we've talked about that. But YouTube, you know, you're recording these videos, you can edit them in your own time. But even when you go to record a YouTube, when you first do it, you do get nervous. Even though you know, you can do it as many times as you want, you can delete it, you can edit it, you can make it look cute. Like, no, you still get nervous. And so I think from doing YouTube, that really helped me with wrestling, with promos, with being used to being on a camera, with being able to just talk and keep things alive. And then Twitch is just a whole different beast because you're just live and you just have to get comfortable. Like, because you can't talk for 5 hours at a million miles an hour. Like, there will be moments of silence and you just have to get comfortable with that.
Be fine with it,
yeah. And like, I haven't wrestled since I've done Twitch, but Twitch has just kind of made me feel like I just don't get embarrassed anymore. I know this sounds really strange, but I just feel like, you know, I've sat there in silence with people watching me just like being terrible at games and things like that. And like, I just don't, you know, that it's really good because it really helps your confidence and just your social skills, which is so important for wrestling.
Yeah. It's almost like that meme of the dog at the start of your Twitch career, like in career, using the air quotes for me specifically, but it's like that meme of the dog at the start where it's like, this is fine. And there's the fire all around. But eventually, like you said, you get to the point where, like, you know, for lack of a better way to put it, that fire almost like subsides a little bit or goes away. Like you said, it's almost like, okay, well, people are sitting here watching me getting my ass kicked at Pokemon, and that's okay.
That felt personal.
It was. No, trust me. Well, I try my best, but like you said, I am by no means a professional. So I'm hopping on here thinking, great, I'm awesome at this. I've been playing Pokemon for 25 years. And the first comments are like, what the hell are you doing, Spencer? It's,
oh my God.
Okay, we'll get past this. But again, speaking of passing things, I'd have to assume, like, both on the content creation end, but on the time passing end, it's been valuable, especially like you said, you haven't wrestled since the pandemic started. Have you at least been able to access a ring and train, or has it all been like getting into a gym or home gyms or watching film, or how have you sort of stayed in game shape? I guess, for lack of a better way to put it.
Yeah, I mean, like for me, I have to be busy. I think everyone has different coping mechanisms, and lockdown has been so tough. And so for some people, like, they just want to relax and do nothing. But like for me, that makes things 10 times worse. Like, I have to work. I have to feel like I'm working towards my future and building something. So that's obviously why I started Twitch. I've thrown a lot of myself into YouTube. In terms of the wrestling side of things, like I watch wrestling all the time. It's probably one of the only things I actually watch. Like, I watch the odd TV show, but like I just watch wrestling. Like, I just watch so much wrestling, and like I'm studying it and I'm watching it all the time. I'm practicing promos. Like, when I'm just running around the house doing stuff, I'll just be like talking to myself, and like everyone in my house has just gotten used to it. Like, she's just talking her shit. Like, let her do it. Like, because I'm just like going off and stuff like that. And I'm quite lucky because I do live at home with my family, and my brothers and my dad and even my mom actually used to be really into the gym. So we do have a treadmill, a cross trainer, a squat. I bought the squat rack actually a couple of years ago. What an investment, though. It actually came in handy.
Ahead of the curve on it. Well done.
I knew it was coming. And then we got some weights and stuff. So we've got like enough. And then there's obviously a lot of training you can do that's just body weight stuff, like deck of cards and things like that, like conditioning that is so important for wrestling. It's just that body strength. So I've really, really been working hard in the gym. In terms of getting into a ring, well, you shouldn't be. I know some people have, but here you shouldn't be. It's actually against our lockdown rules. But I think now it is safe to do so if you're like in a little, like a pair or something like that. So I'm trying to find somewhere to train to get into a ring, but I just don't know. You know, some people aren't open yet. Some people don't have their premises because of lockdown. They've kind of, do you know what I mean? Like, it's been a year. So much has changed. That is my next priority, is like getting back into a ring, because I do have shows and I really want to train before the shows. I want to get into a ring before those shows. It's been a year, like, and the shows I have are really big deals too. So I really want to be ready for them. So I am looking for somewhere to train in a ring. But for me, it's just been about getting in the best shape of my life, practicing my promos, and just watching wrestling, just wrestling.
Is it intimidating at all, like the thought of getting back in a ring? You know, even for me, I make the comparison that I saw a photo of a crowded subway and you almost get like the anxiety of seeing people. Like, what are your thoughts on that? Obviously, getting back in the ring aside, just getting back into the environment of it.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to explain. Like, for me right now, I'm just feeling excitement. Like, I feel emotional when I think about it, just because I feel like I've been trapped for a year. And the thing that's got me through is like we're all in the same boat. Like we've all had to deal with this, and all people have lost a lot of different things, and people have lost much more serious things than me not being able to wrestle and things like that. But now it's getting to that crunch time and it's really coming up. I'm just excited right now. I'm just like full of ambition and excitement and motivation right now. I think that feeling you're talking about, I will get when I'm standing behind the curtain waiting to go out for the first time, and I'll just be like, oh,
I'm about to do this.
Because you kind of get that anyway. I feel like no matter, I mean, it gets a bit better. Like your first couple of matches are like, and then it gets a bit better, but you always get butterflies. Like it's because you care about it. Like you're always going to get those little butterflies.
If you don't have them, you don't give a shit, right?
You don't care. And I always say it's like revving the engine. Like that's what I always just think. It's just like, that's what it is.
I like that.
But when I'm waiting for my first show back, I'm probably going to stall and the car is just going to break. I'm going to be there like, But, I don't know. I'm at the moment it's excitement, but maybe nearer the time I'm thinking the nerves will set in. But right now I'm just dying to get back in there.
Any specific goals, or is it just as simple as let's get back in the ring sooner rather than later?
I mean, that's the main thing. But yeah, I do have a lot of goals. I mean, before lockdown, I was supposed to wrestle internationally. I was meant to go to Finland, Germany, America, Canada. Right? And then
very cool.
I just watched it all slowly get cancelled, and I was like, great. But all those opportunities are still there for when I get back. Obviously with the international stuff, I think it's just going to depend on like flights and vaccines and a lot of different stuff like that. There's a bit more like moving parts to all of that. But so that's one of my goals, is to wrestle internationally, but I'm going to be kind to myself because obviously with COVID, I don't know how that will play out. But that's definitely one of my goals. And for me, it's just like I want to be working every weekend, which as it stands right now, like I've got a lot of bookings, so I'm going to be busy. I just want to be like working. I just want to get back into it. I want to, I had only been on shows for a year before lockdown, and I was really hitting my stride and getting my confidence and really getting to, that next level. Yeah. And for me, I just want to get back to that and really just establish myself and really learn how to work and continue where I left off. And then long term, I would like to, be a full-time wrestler. I would like to be contracted, but right now it's just about getting experience and just making a name for myself, like by myself,
Yeah. Even just being a year in is absolutely wild to me, because you watch some of your matches and you even just get the opportunity to try out for WWE. I think you said 4 or 5 matches into your career.
Yeah.
That's absolutely insane. Like full credit to you. But what do you think like you got out there, and what do you think people saw in you that got you those opportunities so early in your career?
I think it's just like I work really, really hard, but I'm smart about the things that I do. And I think for me, like before I ever started training, I was like, you need to build a brand. Like you're a business. You're always a business. Even when you sign under a company, you're still a business. And you've got to give them something for them to give you that platform and that opportunity and that wage. And like for me, I've always had that like ingrained in my head since I was like 17 years old. So I've always been about just building these platforms, because the hardest part sometimes is like getting people to know you, getting that exposure. If you don't know the right people in a lot of industries, if you don't know people, you don't get a chance. Whereas now we have social media, and it's like, well, you don't need to know someone to get your foot in the door. You could just kick that door down now, because you can make a name for yourself on there. So for me, it was just about sharing my personality, sharing my journey. I shared all my training. I shared gym stuff. I vlog when I do my shows at the weekend. I vlog the whole journey, the diet, the workout, the shows, the highlights, the matches. And I just put it all out there. And I'm just like, this is me. Like, I'm here to make a name. I'm here to do things that independent wrestlers aren't really doing and give you that access. And I think, with WWE, like I actually modeled their shirts. Like I was the first one to do it. They sent me their merch to model. So I think WWE knew who I was when I was like 18. So when I started training and stuff, I know they were like watching me, and I just worked like really, really hard. And I sacrificed everything just to really put the time into wrestling, and that pays off. And then obviously I was lucky enough to get a tryout, which was just the most amazing experience ever. I'm so grateful and blessed to have had that. And yeah, it's just all about working hard and putting yourself out there. And I think that last part is really, really important.
Yeah, I might be being presumptive here, assuming a little bit, but like getting the opportunity to try out in front of William Regal, who at least as an outsider had such an influence on British wrestling. Like, did that mean a little bit extra to you, or what was the experience like as far as the tryout went?
Yeah, it meant so much. And it's just like, I mean, I grew up watching William Regal, and you know, there was Sarah Stock there. There were some incredible people there, the producers. There were so many people who have done a lot for British wrestling, and then you have legends like William Regal. And, you know, to be able to show them what you can do and to get feedback from them. Like, I mean, in a sense, it was literally 3 days of training with them. Like, how lucky to be able to get that tutelage, to get that coaching from these just legends, like
literally the best of the best. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just like, I just felt so blessed to do that, and the tryout itself was incredible. I learned so much, and it was good to kind of show what you've been working on too. That was really gratifying to kind of get that opportunity to show your hard work. And for me, I was just trying to be a sponge and just take everything in. And like, I remember walking into the PC, and like, obviously there's one in the UK now, which that's just crazy, right? That there's a performance center in the UK. That's amazing. And like, just walking in there and just like seeing the WWE ring, and just it, honestly, like, I could just feel it. Like, you know what I was saying about revving the engine? Like, I could just feel those butterflies the whole time. But I just went into just game face mode, and I was like, I need to make these 3 days count. And then you can go home and you can cry, and you can, you know, you can just have your moment, you know, you can go home and you can kind of feel like, oh. But, you know, for me, it was just like game face, and I just try to be a sponge and just absorb it, because above all else, obviously it is a tryout, but it's training, and it's a chance to train with some of the best. And also I got to try out with some amazing women British wrestlers too. Yeah. So that was really, really cool too.
Absolutely. Is there any specific advice they gave you that you would be, I guess, willing to share?
Yeah. For me, obviously, like, I had 3 matches. So they were just like, you know, you've got the tools, just get the experience. And, you know, we want to see you just get yourself out there and just learn how to work. Like, that's what it's all about. And that's kind of, you know, I said to you earlier, like, my goal, I just want to just kind of do some stuff for myself, like wrestle internationally and make a name for myself. And I remember, like, just before lockdown, like, I was really just loving that part of the journey. I think sometimes people talk about it like, oh, it's the horrible bit. But like, I mean, maybe it just gets better. I don't know. But for me, like, I've really been enjoying just, like, I did 7 shows in a row. Like, I did the All-Star, which is like throughout the half term. That's like our school holidays here. And I had shows either side of the weekend, like different shows. So I actually traveled for an entire week. I got to wrestle every single day. And like, that's my dream. That's what I've always wanted to do. Of course, would I love to be on, you know, a big stage one day? Absolutely. But I'm loving this part of the journey. And that's kind of what they said, was like, you know, just enjoy this and get that experience. And yeah.
It's very funny, and like the sort of parallels, are not parallels, the opposite of parallels, the differences between it, right? Like, you talk about the grind and how much you love that wrestling 7 days in a row and living the life of an independent wrestler, and then portraying the character of the Glamour. It's just such a cool dichotomy for me. Where did it come from? I know you've talked about Trish and Mickey and individuals like that really being a big influence on you. Was it from a lot of that sort of stuff? Was it your previous work in fashion, or a combination of everything, I suppose?
Oh, you know, it was a lot of everything. I feel like it was kind of fate for me to reach this character, because when I first started training, like, I got a lot of comments and a lot of, like, I guess, nastiness, I'd say, because of just who I am. Like, they kind of looked at me and thought, oh, she's a model, or like, because I was quite glamorous, because I looked after myself and I worked hard, it was like, oh, like, she's just a model. And like, I kind of got put down for that. And like, almost a lot of people suggested I should suppress that and not be me. And weird. I just thought, you know what, like, I work a full-time job. I train like 2 to 3 nights a week. I work out every single day. I spend all my money on wrestling training, on food, on supplements. Like, I work just as hard, if not harder than you, just because I'm blonde, or because I'm a model, or whatever perception you seem to have of me, because I, you know, put myself together well. You want to put me down. I don't think I should have to suppress that. So like, for me, it took me a while to get there, because when I was first wrestling, I was kind of forced to suppress that. I came out to a theme song that was just not me. It was a great song with Offspring, but it wasn't me. Like, when you look at me, that's not me. And I was still like, don't wear pink and don't do this and don't do that. And I thought, and I was like, why? And they're like, no one does that. And I'm like, well, yeah, like, exactly. I don't want to be like, I don't want to be like everyone else. I want to be me, and I want to be different. And no one ever made history by just copying someone else. Like, you've got to be different. And like, I come out to Ariana Grande. No one comes out to Ariana Grande. No one comes out to
and it's something that's appreciated, by the way. Like, even myself sitting here through the pandemic, I'm sitting watching your matches, and my girlfriend's not a wrestling fan by any means, but certainly pays attention. She appreciates your choice in music too. Don't let anyone throw shade at that shit.
Dude, that's exactly what I'm saying. But I do these shows and like immediately the kids are straight up out of their seat and the mums kind of think, oh, like, because they think, oh, someone different is coming because it's Ariana Grande. It's a great song. It's feel good. It's high energy.
Not
it's bubbly.
rock track number 4 off the YouTube audio library.
Right. And I'm like, if everyone else is going to come out in black with studs and heavy metal and, each their own, you do you. But like, if I'm the one girl that's like in bright pink, sparkles, high energy, bubbly, fun, loving, like people are going to gravitate to that. Like you said, your girlfriend isn't really a wrestling fan. And she's like, what's that? And it gets people's attention. And so like for me, the glamour, it's twofold. Obviously, there's a good guy version of it and a bad guy version of it. And the good guy version is really, really special to me because it really defines the start of my career. And it's about accepting who you are and letting that shine. And I wear pink, I'm glamorous, I'm fun, I work my ass off. I do, I'll work circles around you. And that's what the glamour is. The heel version of the glamour, she's a little bit, everything's handed to her. She's beautiful. You're right. I don't work hard. But at the moment,
I was going to say, I was playing what everybody accused you of.
Yeah. So I could just flip the switch. So it's a really great character. And I waited for a long time to kind of put it out there. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to do it. Maybe it's too early in my career, but I'm going to do it. And people just loved it. And it really seemed to work. And people said to me, you know what? Like I was into you. And then you came up with the glamour. And I was like, yeah, that's her. Like she's solidified to me.
Flip the switch for them as well.
Yeah. And so I just think that's what the glamour is. It's just about being you and letting that shine no matter what.
It's very cool because like obviously just watching as the outsider prior to this conversation, it's a good professional wrestling character, but you grow to love it even more when you hear you say that because it's ownership of yourself, right?
Yeah.
I absolutely love it.
Yeah. And I think like, a lot of people like wrestling now is just growing so much, especially for women. And I don't think anyone should be shamed for who they are. So whether you are alternative or you're very glamorous or, you come from a different sport or like, you weren't a childhood wrestling fan or you are a massive childhood wrestling fan, you shouldn't be judged for any of these things. If you go in and you work hard and you're respectful, that should be on your name because, you should never judge people just because of like stereotypes because I'm a childhood wrestling fan. Like I've watched wrestling since I can remember. Like I used to wrestle with my brothers. Like I've given up my life to be a wrestler. How dare you judge me? Because like I
wasn't a backyarder, but I was a living roomer, I suppose.
Exactly. But yeah, no, it's just I don't think you should ever be afraid to be yourself. So that's really what I want to teach people, and that's the message I want to send.
Mariah, I think that's absolutely fantastic. And I think it's an absolutely fantastic place to leave it off, at least for this one. Hopefully I get you back on sooner rather than later. I guarantee I'll see you on Twitch in the next couple of days. But of course, if other people want to join me and the other people who follow Mariah May on Twitch and anywhere else, how can they do so? Where can you be found online?
Well, I'm on a lot of different platforms, as we said. So my username is Mariah May X. I'm on YouTube, Twitch, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, all that good stuff. And then my merch is available on Pro Wrestling Tees /Mariah May.
Absolutely fantastic. They're very easy to find, folks. You should be able to search just the one thing that she gave you to find on all those platforms. But if you can't, they're all in the show notes down there. And if you want to catch them again, feel free to rewind and check this one out again, because I hope you guys enjoyed tuning in as much as fun as I had having this conversation. Mariah, thank you so much, especially, like I said, after you've had a busy day. Hopefully I see you sooner rather than later, whether back on here or whether online. But thanks once again. It's thoroughly appreciated. I had a blast.
Thank you so much for having me.
Any time. Hopefully, friends, you guys enjoyed this again as much as I did. Feel free to throw us a subscription either here on Twitch or wherever podcasts are found or videos are played. Thanks once again, friends. I'll see you next time.